Welcome to Transformational Talks with Coach BJ. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm excited and ready for this talk tonight, as always. So come on in. I look forward to saying Happy New Year to you guys. So as you come in, go ahead and say hello in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Happy New Year. Come on in. I'm going to wait till I see people start coming on. It's 7 o'clock and it's time to go. I see one person already didn't come on. So whoever you are, put in the comments that you're here and that you're watching. And like I always say, if you can't stay, that's fine. Just get what you can get. Hi, Dee Dee. How are you? Happy New Year. Thank you for joining. Come on in, guys. Happy New Year. We got an awesome talk today that's actually going to turn into a series. Hi, Sharon. Thank you for joining. Happy New Year to everyone. Hi, Miss Sherry. Happy New Year again, even though we've talked. Happy New Year, Antoinette. It's so good to see you. So good to see you. Hey, Sarah, Janelle, how are you? Good to see you on tonight. Good to see you on. Thank you guys for joining. So this is going to be a great talk. It's 7:01. So as a lot of you know who come on to these talks every other week, you know that I am mindful of the time. My talks are usually about 30 minutes. I just kind of hit a couple of highlights, but I'm going to try to take my time a little bit tonight. And because this information that I'm going to talk about tonight is so very important. So again, as you guys are coming in, let me know that you're here. Happy New Year to all of you guys. This information I'm going to talk about tonight is so very important to really letting go of 2020 and all the things that, stem from that year. And then really embracing change in 2021. That's what we need. We need to embrace change. I know that in the climate that we're in, there's a lot of stuff going on. Hi, Leslie. Thank you for joining. There's a lot of things going on right now in this climate politically. Good evening, darling. Davis, how are you? Thank you for joining. And, so there are so many people that are going through the political climate. Hey, sis Deborah, how are you? Good to see you tonight. Happy New Year. It's so many things that's going on. The riots and everything that happened yesterday. That is just awful, right? But I say all that to say is that we really need to focus. We really need to focus on our own personal change and what we need to let go of. And we don't need to let the media, everything that's going on, to distract us from what we're supposed to be doing, right? What we've been called here to do. And so that's part of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I didn't realize actually until a couple of days that this talk is actually going to turn into a series, a 3-part series. So tonight is part 1, and I will give you guys the highlights of the next 2 talks that I'm going to be doing. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, being mindful of the time. So thank you guys for joining. So I'm going to be switching back and forth from my comments to my presentation because I want it to be really large. So everybody can hear me okay? I think so, because everybody's been speaking. So thanks everyone for joining. So let's go ahead and go. So I always, for those of you who join me on a regular basis, I always like to start with a quote that is based on the topic that I'm going to discuss tonight. And so the quote that I want to display tonight is, "It takes courage to let go of the familiar and embrace the new." And I'm going to say that again. It takes courage to let go of the familiar and embrace the new. And I'm going to really walk you through and break down what that means. I know a lot of us know a little bit about what that means because we get in our comfort zones, and it's hard to really let go of a lot of the habits and the behaviors that we display. So I'm going to help you through that process tonight. So let's start off with journaling. For those of you who join me all the time, I always say take out your journals, your notebooks. I promise you, you're going to walk away with a lot of notes. If you don't catch everything, the replay is always on both YouTube Live and Facebook Live. It always stays there. So if you need to go back, if you didn't catch anything or want to hear something, that I might have mentioned, definitely feel free to go back and look at the information. But get your journals out, because I promise you, you're going to want to review these notes and really take a look at this yourself and really evaluate. So, we're going to talk about letting go, as I said. So, the first thing that I want you to take the time to do and to think about right now, before we really get into any details, is really think about what do you need to let go and leave behind in 2020, right? And so this question is really personal to you. It's not really focused on anyone else, but really look inside and think about what do you need to let go. So you want to think about those things, think about the emotions that you might have. So some of the anger and disappointment that you experienced last year. What about some of the mental, side effects that we had stemming from the pandemic, right? Negative self-talk, losing hope, right? Losing hope in our country, losing hope and faith in God. A lot of times, depending on our own personal situations, there's a lot of people who committed suicide. So again, they lost hope. As I said in my talk back in December, you're taking action, on a temporary situation and making a permanent decision, to do something that's going to impact the rest of your life, right? What about letting go of toxic people, right? A lot of us have a lot of people that we no longer need to be connected to. So we need to look at the people that are toxic in our life and who do we need to let go? Or if it's somebody like a family member who you may can't let go of, right? You want to create and set boundaries for that person to say, I'm only going to let you get so close to me, or here's how I'm going to actually deal with you. So create some boundaries and set some limitations as to how you're going to deal with that person if you can't completely let them go, right? And the last thing I'll say about letting go is you have to let go of what you envisioned 2020 was going to be for you, right? Traveling and, oh, this is going to be the best year yet. And, all of the hopes and dreams a lot of us have for 2020, they didn't come to pass. So either they were postponed or they never happened. So we need to let go of those ideals and those dreams, specifically for last year, and look at how we can embrace change in 2021, right? And how to be able to do that. So I want you to allow me to help you unpack and embrace the changes in 2021 for you personally, starting from where you are. So again, this is going to be a three-part series that will help you to embrace change in 2021. You're going to be discovering the reasons you were born. So, what are those benefits and how you're going to impact the world and be successful? So, there's going to be multiple things that's going to transpire with that as a whole over the next two talks, right after tonight. So, the talk will focus on the following. And if some of you have saw the advertisement, you saw that I say I'm going to be defining and breaking down the process of letting go. I'm going to be sharing the 5 distinct ways of letting go. The power and principle of planning is so powerful, right? And the third thing is the 2 powers in life you can never control and why. So I'm going to give you all of those 3 talking points for tonight. So again, if you're just coming on and I haven't seen you, let me kind of go back and see if there's anybody that came in that I did not address and see. Okay, great. So I see we are up to date with the comments. So let me go back. So let's look at letting go, right? So I asked you the question earlier, a little while ago, is, have you started writing down a list of things that you need to let go in 2021? Have you started writing? I know a lot of us can kind of attest to what we need to do, right? But if you're one of those people who was having a little trouble trying to figure out what you needed to let go of in 2020, right? Your list should contain removing anything, or I'm going to say anyone that did not serve you or benefit you. And let me put a point out there to say that this is not a selfish statement, because in order for you to be able to pour and to serve into others, you have to be whole yourself and let go of the negativity and the weights and everything that holds you down, right? For you to be able to move forward. So you have to be whole yourself before you can be able to pour and serve into others, right? So if there's something or someone in your life that's no longer benefiting you, then it's something that you need to look at putting down on your let go list, right? So I'm not going to say that letting go is easy, because it's not. It's not an easy process, right? You'll always hear people say, girl, why don't you just let it go, right? People will say that real quick, but the struggle is real depending on what you have to let go. It's very hard, right? So what I'm going to do, instead of saying you need to let it go, I'm actually going to walk you through the process of what that means to let go. Okay, so is everybody ready? If you're ready, say you're ready in the comments. All right. So, first of all, letting go involves a conscious choice. versus a physical action. There is some physical action that has to do with letting go, right? It could be throwing out old clothes. So there could be some physical things. You may have to throw someone out the house, whatever that may be. And I'm just cracking jokes. But seriously, it's a conscious choice. So it first starts in the mind, right? And this could be extremely challenging. It can be very scary. It can be very painful, right? And I'm going to give you a scenario. What if it's someone, for example, that you live with, right? So let's say it's a boyfriend that you're living with, or someone that you've been in a relationship with, and it's just not working out, right? It could be an abusive situation. It could be a situation where, let's just say, you just lost your job, right? And you have to depend on this other person for your financial resources. So in one of those type of scenarios, you may be thinking to yourself, well, this is kind of scary, and it could be very challenging, right, to be able to do that. And I'm sorry, because my phone is just going off. So that can be very challenging for you to be able to let go. That's very scary, right? And it could be very painful because it could be a long-term relationship that you've been in. It could be something of that nature, but you have to figure out, how am I able to do this, right? So I just wanted to throw out an example where it could be kind of scary or challenging for you to actually just let go. So again, that's why I say it's personal to everyone, and it's not that easy to do, right? So again, especially if your heart and mind are saying two totally different things. So let's looking at how to let go, right? And defining that. So letting go, in a sense, is releasing all of the doubt. Remember, I said it starts with the mind. So the conscious, right? Releasing that doubt, the fear about a situation, right? A person or an outcome. So it starts there. You have to release that. It starts with the mind, and then your emotions that's attached to that, right? So it's releasing anything that disrupts your happiness. As I stated earlier, anything that's not benefiting you or serving you, then it's time for you to really evaluate and see, is this something that I need to let go, right? The next thing, number 2, letting go is a choice to decide that you will no longer, I said ruminate, but really mull over things, right? That are out of your control. Because a lot of things are out of your control, right? So you have to focus on what you can control instead of what you can't control, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, letting go, it creates the space for fresh beginnings, a new chapter in your life. So it's just stripping all of the things of your past, of yesterday, again, things that no longer serve you. And it enables you to open new doors, new opportunities for you to really focus and see what it is. So it kind of gives you that 20/20 vision, that clear vision that you're looking for. So when you kind of remove all of the junk, remove all of the habits, remove all of the toxic people, remove all of the toxic things, right? Your vision become clear. It's almost like someone who was a hoarder, right? If they ever left their house and someone came in and did a whole makeover, the sink, right? The living room, everything would become clear, right? So, and I know this on a larger scale, but that's how you have to think about all of the things that's in your life, whether it's internal, things you have to let go, emotions, anger, disappointments, or is it something in your physical environment? So let's look at number 4. Number 4 is letting go is about accepting what is happening right now and not worrying about what will come up tomorrow. We can only deal with what God has given us within 24 hours in a day. That's all we have is today. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So we can't worry about tomorrow and the cares of tomorrow. Let tomorrow take care of itself. So now here's another quote. And this process, what it does, it involves much more than just saying you have to let it go. It's actually an internal process that must happen for you to truly feel better and get on with your life. That's going to be a healthy and sustainable way for you. That's how you have to do it, right? It starts from the inside out. You have to do it internally, think of it mentally, emotionally. You have to internalize the process of letting go. And then from there, outwardly, you can do the outward action that it's going to take in order to do that, right? So let's look at the journey of this. And as a general reminder, it's important that we all honor where we are. As I said, this process is not easy for everybody. Everybody deal with it differently. It's an individual process. It's the individual journey. Again, as I said earlier, it may be challenging for you and others, right? So you want to be able to start from where you are, not from where someone else is. You want to start where you are based on your journey right now. Again, that's why it's so personal. That's why it's an internal process. You have to take a self-assessment for yourself, not what any of your outside influences say. You want to really take a look at your journey, your personal things that you need to let go. Okay. Now, let's take a look at these 5 things. So let's start at mind control, right? This is a part of letting go, right? And if you look at my little picture that I put in there, this is inhale the future and exhale the past. Just let it go, right? So I thought that was cute. So, mind control, right? So, the human mind is the most complex tool we own. So, we can either be our biggest ally or our worst enemy. So, having the power to let things go, it starts right there. The next thing is to get it all out, right? And I know a lot of us, we internalize a lot of stuff. We close in when we're dealing with different things. We close in, right? But sometimes we just have to get out and let it go, whether that's to a confidant that you trust, whether it's journaling it, right? So having the ability to express it in words on paper. Let out your thoughts and emotions. Don't hold them in. So getting it all out, right? So staying present. The present is all we have. We can't go back and fix the past. What happens in the future isn't here yet. I'm going to say that again. What happens in the future isn't here yet. We must make every effort every day to remember that and allow ourselves, right, to understand that the future it isn't here yet, right? It isn't here. So we can't worry about the future. We can't fix the past. We got to stay present with what we have going on every day. Every day, every minute, every second. Again, we're living in the present. We can't live for tomorrow. We can't live for the past. So we just got to focus on today, the good, the bad, the easy, the hard. We got to focus on and stay present, right? Acceptance is next. So we all want to know why something ended the way that it ended. A lot of us, we want closure. So sometimes we may have to accept that closure may come for some, but closure may not come. So you may have to accept it for what it is. If it's a person, you may have to accept them for who they are and how they left the situation, right? Fully accepting that you may never get that apology that you're looking for, right? So you have to just accept however the situation ended. And again, look at it as something in the past that you can't fix, right? You want to just accept it and try to move on the best that you can. Again, it's a personal situation, and no one, and I'm going to repeat, no one is allowed to tell you how long it's going to take you to accept the situation. It may take a couple of days, it may take months, it may take years, right? So don't let anyone bully you or tell you what society or anyone else says about any of these processes, but definitely acceptance. And the last thing is forgiveness, right? To truly let go and to move on, sometimes you have to forgive people who aren't even sorry, which is so sad, but you have to do that, right? In order for your own mindset and your own sanity, you have to just forgive people, even if they're not sorry, right? Because sometimes you have to accept an apology you'll never receive. And that takes so much strength, courage, and humility. So I will say, take the time to really sit down with yourself and assess those things you have to let go of from 2020 in order to embrace the present year. And this is a process I would recommend you doing, you know, at least once a month, once a quarter, every 6 months if you can. But don't wait to do this process once a year when it's time to start a new year and say, hey, it's a new year. Let me see what I want to do this year and what did I do last year, right? The process of letting go happens often. So you want to be able to have the ability to do this process because you may be attached to people much longer than you need to be. You may be attached to a situation longer than you need to be. You may be attached to things longer than you need to be. So you want to take an assessment that's right for you, but I would recommend it definitely being more often than just once a year. Okay. So that is the process of letting go. So once you have successfully have sat down with yourself and have really truly worked out the process of letting go based on what I just shared. Now let's talk about embracing 2021 with change, right? So let's go. So one of the things that come with change is the power of planning, right? In order to change, you have to plan to do so. So what I'm going to do is ask you this question, and I'm going to come up over to the comments to see if anyone else can answer this question. So can anyone guess the 2 powers in life you can never control? So let's see if someone can have that answer. Can anyone guess the 2 powers in life you can never control? And I'm gonna give it a second before we move on. Be like we're on Jeopardy. Do, 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 do. Oh my goodness. I know it takes a minute for the comments to come in. So, all right. So if you guessed it, that'll be good. So I'm going to go ahead and complete because, like I said, I want to be mindful of the time. So the two powers in life you can never control or stop is time and change. Why? Because these two components are the most difficult to manage. Wouldn't you agree? I'm going to say that again. The two powers in life you can never control or stop is time and change because they are the two most difficult things to manage, right? A person's life consists in how they use time and manage change. This is what a person's life consists of. How do you use your time and how you manage change? And for those of you who don't know how to manage change, go back to my December 3rd talk of 2020, and that will talk a lot about change. And you will get really the knowledge and benefits you need in understanding how to manage change, because I talked about that in that talk back on December 3rd. So, the key to your future is the successful management of time and change. So I'm gonna say that again. The key to your future is the successful management of time and change. You are simply a product of how you manage your time, right? So you have to think about, what will you be or what will you be doing in 5 or 10 years from now, right? Will be the results of how you actually manage your time right now, right? I put 2030 up there, but what about 2025, right? 5 to 10 years, right, from now, where will you be? What will you be doing, right? All of that is going to stem on how you start planning right now for your future. It starts with planning, right? You have to plan. You just don't want to run up on things. You want to be able to plan and have some type of insight or control about what your future is going to look like as much as you can. So let's talk about the power of time. So time is a gift given to us by God. That gift is given to us to fulfill an assignment. You were sent on earth to complete a task and fulfill a specific purpose within a certain amount of time, right? So you don't have forever to fulfill your assignment. You don't have forever to fulfill it, right? So you want to try to do everything that you can do within your power to understand, what am I here for? What is my assignment? What am I supposed to be doing, right? So as we're coming into the new year, I want to ask I want you to ask yourselves the following questions. One, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what did I do with the year that just passed? That's the first question. What did you do with the year that just passed? What did you do with it? So that will be the first thing you would want to ask yourself. What did I do with the last year, right? Um, the next thing is, how much of it did I waste doing the following? Binge it on TV. You see, I got a picture of Netflix on there, right? Binge it on TV, right? What about the people who have wasted your time? You've invested your energy, your conversations, your, whatever it is, right? You've wasted it on people. How much time did you waste it on people that didn't serve you or didn't benefit you, right? What bad habits did you constantly engage in? How much time did you waste with bad habits, right? So ask yourself again, what did I spend 2020 doing? We are accountable to our creator because he gave us the gift of time. So we are accountable to see, what do we need to do with that time, right? So for those of us where the Bible is our word and that is our word of truth, that's what we live by. I wanted to provide you with the scripture about this. So time limitations in Job 14:5-7. Man's days are determined. You have decreed the number of his months and have set limits he cannot exceed. Verse 6 says, so look away from him and let him alone, till he has put in his time like a hired man. So I highlighted number of his months, set limits, cannot exceed. So have any of you ever wondered why most people pass away around the holidays before the year ends? It's based on time limitations. And I don't say this to be spooky or to scare anyone or, or any of that, but I'm just really stating facts. We all have a certain time on this earth. And what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with the time that we are allowed here? That's what we have to focus on, not getting caught up in, like I said, social media, not getting caught up in politics, not getting caught up in anything that doesn't serve or benefit you, right? If it's not serving or benefit you or helping you to serve others, then it's really a waste of time, in my opinion. So now let's look at this. Every new year is a chapter. So you see the blank pages that I put on there and time and everything. When you close the previous year chapter, you should be wondering, how did I do? I wonder, how did I do last year? As I said in the previous slide, that you should be asking yourself, what did I do? Right. So now you want to ask yourself, well, how did I do last year? Right. Against my goals, against some of the things that I said I was going to do. How did I make out? Right. What did I learn is another question you want to ask yourself. What did I learn from last year? Did I learn anything that benefit me that I can take into this new year? Right. And then the next thing is, what shouldn't I take with me into 2021? What shouldn't I take with me in this new year? Right. And I'm giving you these tools and these questions and everything that you can do year after year. You can even not even have to do it every year. You can do it again whenever you want to take an assessment and really check the levels of how your life is going. These are some of the things that you can ask yourself. So instead of saying, how did I do the last year? Say, how did I do over the last month? How did I do over the last 3 months against my goals? So if you want to be a little bit more stringent into keeping up with really what you're doing, by all means, use these questions to really make a self-assessment and see what tweaks or adjustments you need to make. You know, Time and change are the raw materials of life and building blocks of your legacy. That's what those two things are. You become what you are by using the 24 hours in a day that you have. As I stated earlier, you only have 24 hours. How are you going to make the best use time of that? And then every new year is an opportunity given to you by destiny to improve your management of time and change. Those are two powerful things, right? So let's look at the advantages of a new year. The advantages of a new year is this. It's an opportunity to redefine your priorities, your purpose, your vision, your goals, your past, and your future, right? That's an advantage. Those are the advantages of the new year that you want to be able to focus on, right? How do you redefine those things? Now let's look at the secret to success in your life, right? So the secret to life is effective management of time and change, which I mentioned earlier. And the principal key to management of time and change is planning. So in order for you to successfully uh, affect managing time and change, you have to plan. So you cannot control time and change, but you can effectively plan on how you use your time, right? If you aim at nothing, you will never miss. So if you don't have any goals to achieve, if you haven't set anything in motion for yourself, then you're aiming at nothing. There's nothing to be aimed at, right? Planning creates bullseyes, targets, destinies, and without a destination, again, you're just shooting in the dark. Planning is the most successful principle in life. That, if you want to know what's the most successful thing in life, is planning. The thing that regulates time and change is planning. Without a plan, time and change will ruin you. Without a plan, I'm going to say that again, without a plan, time and change will ruin you. Put together a plan so great that time will submit to it and change will serve it. And I'm going to say that again. Put together a plan that is so great that time will submit to it and change will serve it. Okay? Now, for me, being spontaneous with something as important as your life is dangerous, right? Being spontaneous and not planning with something as important as your life, that could be very dangerous. So let's look at the resolution for this. So again, for those of us where the Bible is our word of truth and we hold everything dear to what the Bible says, I wanted to provide you with another scripture. Proverbs 16:3-4. Commit to the Lord whatever you plan to do, and your plans will succeed. Right there in the word of God, right there. Commit to the Lord whatever you plan to do, and your plans will succeed. So if you go into this year without a plan, change will destroy you. So you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. You cannot go into this year without a plan. So I want to talk about the next two talks, and I am right on time. It is 7:30. Look at God. So I'm managing my time effectively now, right? So let's look at part two. So part two of this talk is going to be what's the blueprint for your life? So I will tell you, this won't be just me talking and giving points, right? This is going to be a working session next week, actually, the 14th. That's why I said I can't believe I'm going to be talking so many times this month, but wasn't planned, just, ordained. So this is a working session. So bring your journals and your notebooks, because I'm actually going to lay out the blueprint for your life. So if you've never have done a blueprint for your life, this is by far the best I've ever found and have ever seen of walking through and being able to plan your life. So today I talked about, letting go of 2020 and embracing change in 2021, right? And of course, I talked about the plan and the power of planning, right? So with the power of planning, some of us, we've never done a plan before, or we have, we want to be able to again, redefine what their plans look like for us. So next Thursday, the 14th, I'm going to be right back here again at 7:00, and it's going to be more questions. I'm going to go through slides, and I'm going to go through questions that you will need down. And you're going to want, these are things so that's going to be your homework, right? So the talk is going to be just based on the questions and me outlining anything and answering any questions that anyone has. So I'm going to literally lay out the blueprint and the questions you're going to need to ask yourself as you take your personal assessment in your corner, in your closet, wherever's most quiet without any distractions. You want to be able to write the blueprint for your life. Hey, Markel, thank you for joining. I see that you joined Sharika. Thank you for joining. Glad you guys are here. Happy New Year. These are some of the people I haven't seen that has come on since I've started the talk. And so let me let you know what the third part is going to be. So like I said, that's going to be next week. So the third part is going to be even, that's really going to close it out, right? So part 3 is going to be find out why you will never be fulfilled until you learn this particular principle. And this is the final series, and I'm not going to tell you what that principle is until January 28th. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to skip a week because I'm going to have my expert come on Thursday the 21st, and then I'll be back on January 28th to complete this series. So again, part 3 is going to be find out why you will never be fulfilled in your life until you learn the principle that I'm going to share with you on January 28th. So I am so excited and happy that you guys joined me tonight. And I am so grateful and thankful that you took the time to spend 30 minutes with me tonight, as I always do. I just thank you guys so much for always, taking the time out and sharing, giving me feedback. And I appreciate that. And as I always say, for those of you who are new and are joining me for the first time, I always let everybody know if there are any topics that you want to get more tools, more coaching around, let me know. I'd be more than happy to speak about anything. If it's something that I don't already know, there's something that's not in my portfolio to be able to talk about or something to speak to, I will research and build a talk just for you. And anybody on here who have requested something from me, know that I will surely do it. So just let me know what your needs are. As I said, this platform, Transformational Talks with Me, is a platform where I am here to serve. And serving means just that. I am here to serve you and to bring you the information and knowledge and the tools you need to live the best life that you can live while you have it to live, right? So again, thank you so much for joining me. As I always say, don't forget to subscribe and share to _Coach BJ on all social media platforms. It is the Source of Hope on Facebook. But all of our other platforms is _Coach BJ. So again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. You guys have been a blessing. If you guys have come on and again, share with your friends for them to watch the replay. I want everybody to get all of this knowledge and these tools that I'm providing. So thank you so much. I love you guys. Take care. And I will see you right here again next Thursday at 7:00 on January 14th. Thank you guys. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.